Microphone check 1 2. Who is this?
I remember a tweet you put out maybe 3 years ago, Virgil, where you were like, "I need water. I've been with Kid Cudi for 2 fucking days."
Ouch.
That's how I feel right now.
Wow. Facts.
I need water.
Yeah. Are there any water sponsors for Basil?
Yeah.
That's real. Too many booze sponsors. Yeah.
I like Twitter better than Instagram.
Wow.
Why?
You like Instagram better? ASAP?
I look at the pictures because I just don't have to.
Twitter free the nipple.
We can't hear you now because you don't have the mic.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's porn.
I
there's
just
porn on
like
Twitter.
looking at pictures and I don't have to think when I look at pictures.
You sound like someone I know.
No.
Twitter's where you go. I go to Twitter just to read 3 of the people in this room. Maria's trying to chill back there and be super cool, but she's here figuratively with a microphone.
She's a Twitter god.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Twitter, like amongst men,
Yeah.
she's a Twitter god.
Yeah.
And you guys, I usually just go to see like once every like 4 days, like what you've been up, the thoughts that you guys put down.
Yeah. No, yeah, you'll get that barrage of Virgil retweets and likes.
Yeah, that's because I'm just checking in, you know.
Checking in.
I wish Luca tweeted more.
Yeah,
Kinda
Luca's
random on and off.
going.
All right, so this is No Vacancy In at the Communiversity, Miami, Art Basel 2016, No Wave, and yeah, Virgil Heron, A-side.
You already know.
You already know. You see it.
You see it. So the first question, really vacuous and unwarranted, is how much do you think if you put all these clothes together, we could raise for charity? Like, let's
Are those from
just throw
94
numbers
retros?
out there.
These are
Are
these are
those the 80 retro?
these
Are
are,
the 80s
nah, these are the
originals or
first.
retros?
These are like the newborn. This is like
When they
the
came
first
out.
kid. Yeah, 85.
Oh,
They're alive. Yeah,
Yeah.
not
The
retro.
first ones.
I reckon we could raise. I reckon.
Damn.
First run.
Fuck.
I reckon we should do it. We should actually a year from now put all of these clothes that we're
Yeah.
wearing right now up
Rare.
for sale
Yeah.
and just give the money away.
Whoa! I
What
just
charity?
peeped the Louis Vuitton. Because when you said that, it was like, it could be like $20. 'Cause all of us are off the wave of high fashion.
Yeah.
Cut to
It's really not 20.
Tremaine's shoes and
I could
shirt
give-
like they're from '85.
I could give
And they
you an
definitely
estimate on
cost
Tremaine right now.
over
A-side,
$8,000.
I've been doing side DJ gigs. I have stuff in
for,
the net.
for the last month.
You're just looking at the clothes.
No, but hey, real talk. What are you guys doing in Miami anyway? Because no one ever actually knows why anyone's in Miami. They're just like, you're gonna be there.
Being a part of it.
Yeah, it's
Driving
the
it
convergence
forward.
of culture, you know. My thing is like, obviously, whether you participate in culture or not, it's recording. Like, you know, it's always the red light's always on. So unless we're here, I feel like their culture is not getting a taste of our culture.
That's actually really poignant because the more time I spend out here and coming to these things, I start to realize slowly that all the people I thought knew, all the people that I thought they knew what they were doing actually don't know what they're doing. They're just doing it. Right? So when you go to like the art fairs and you go to like the parties and stuff, you're kind of like, well, they just put it together. So it's not out of reach. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas before, from a distance, they're like really professional.
Right.
And I'm actually like, no, it's pure chaos.
Yeah. Pure chaos.
Well, it's like-
quickly put together.
Autopilot.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I had this epiphany earlier that people are either awake or they're asleep. You know, like you could just go through life. You can get to like 60,
Yeah.
70, not actually being awake to like a larger context of zeitgeist and the movements of art and commercial culture. You know, not even like cool stuff, just like
Yeah, because I mean, we all been coming to Art Basel for a minute, and like, you could have just kept coming down here and just DJing. I could have kept coming down here and hanging out, seeing what's going on, Pagal House, whatever, Stussy, whatever. This, that, and the
Definitely
third,
not shopping.
and then you know what I mean. But like, you have a installation at the design, you know, Miami Art Design.
yeah.
You know, so you made, like you said, you made a choice to participate, and maybe there's kids who come down here to hear you DJ, and then they're like, oh shit, you know, they wake up from the hangover, and they trickle down to design, Miami Art Design, and get inspired, or not. Maybe they see it and think, hey, I don't want to do that, or maybe they say I could do something better than that. But it's more than just the parties. And not saying the parties aren't a very important part of it, because I feel like we always say, there's conversations that happen at these parties. in the car to the party after the set's done that we've actually put into reality. But I feel like it's important, not even just art battles, of that we do something more. Because even like with this house, it made me like, you guys missed it yesterday, but what were the guys that performed?
Brian Butler
and Matthew, I forget his last name.
Yeah.
And it was just like a crazy like performance art of like neurosis, like conscious, unconscious mind, and they just did an ill performance. And I'm like, and then ASAP Rocky walks in, and Onyx Collective's performing. That's like the magic trick for me, because it's like, it's a layup just to do, get my friends like V, Silva, Benji B to come DJ, but then to have something else that is off the beaten path for people that are coming there and see that, like that's like the magic. And I think it's the same thing with what you're doing, at Design Miami. It's like you're doing something that's not expected. You know what I mean? Because on so many levels.
Yeah.
But I think we've all kind of mastered, or we're getting close to mastering the art of making it look like we're not actually working. When we're constantly working.
Seamlessly.
This is like a new way of being kind of professional or semi-professional.
Yeah.
Because everything does happen from the conversations we have at nighttime, basically. And at nighttime, we're playing music and drinking.
Question that got pitched to Heron and I in a talk yesterday. The concept of selling out, does it still exist?
So, Brock got a text from Bobby 100 saying, I can't remember what he said exactly, but he said something like, oh, it looks great out there. It looks super cool. And then Brock was like, why are you not here? And he's like, well, I can't be there because people consider me a sellout. And Brock was like, well, if you don't sell out by the time you're 30, you're going to end up broke. That was Brock's reply.
That was my answer yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, I was like, man, get real. Like, people got bills to pay.
Yeah, it's like if you don't.
I feel like
selling out, like if we did a insert brand here, what's the most thirstiest brand? I feel like we could make it cool. Like, and it's something that like 4 years ago I would not have said that. It would have been like, that's going to do some damage. But I think there's been a line in the sand and then we've jumped over it where it's like people don't care and it's a new landscape to sort of like, in quotes, work.
I think selling out, someone saying someone sold out is like, fuck you, drop out of capitalist society then. We're all sellouts unless you drop out of first world capitalist society. Like, and if you're going to live in a society, why not maximize affect culture and make as much money as you can? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to affect culture and make money because my little brother got Crohn's disease and America doesn't have free health care. So, and my dad, if I don't figure something out, he's going to be working at CBS till he's 75. My grandmother's is 90 and broke. And they're happy, not playing no violin. So me monetizing off my creative capabilities and talents, if that's selling out, it's like, fuck you. Come pay my bills. Because I don't want to drop out of first world society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So selling out is selling yourself out what you want to do. To me, selling out is, if you're working at a job you don't like and you're too scared to chase your dreams or even just do your hobbies on the side, you don't even got to quit that 9 to 5. You could do it for 50 years, but even just do what you want to do, that's selling out. You can only sell out yourself. Like these like hipsters and critics, they want to see every artist broke and disenfranchised. You know what I mean? It's like 50 Cent said once, like, someone said something to him about selling out. He's like, well, then why you get a record deal? Just you could do your raps.
Yeah, but
not get a record deal. Why you get a record deal and didn't act like selling records is a bad thing?
Yeah, but here's the thing about culture. Like, it literally is an idea that we make up as we go along, right? So at the end of the day, everyone's concept of it doesn't have to be the same. And my whole thing is just like 88 keys on a piano, you go from major to minor scale. Like, do you know what I'm saying? In 87 like drops. So the thing is, at one extreme of it, it's just gonna sound high, and the other extreme is gonna be low. So my whole thing is, I was really sad when I heard like Nasty Girl might be going into acquisition, or might be going into like liquidation.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's a great female-founded independent brand.
Yeah.
The clothes might be disgusting to me, but the thing is, it's hard work and it's a part of culture.
Yeah.
At the other end of the scale, what you're doing is also, do you know what I mean? It's all on the same piano.
Here's a question.
Walter.
With these great minds, like the word culture, let's actually let's reach a milestone in this art dad establishment. What is cult? Like, are we saying it just got this freak out. Like, are we saying the word culture and it's not actually defined? It's like saying the word lit or something, like, or like, what is, so I'm just going to preface it with this, because culture is actually like what's happening. So it's like, draw a line between One Oak, Los Angeles, the door at Up and Down, Visions, to this house, to random fashion week party. Yeah, you know, so it's like we operate in all these zones. Like, I think it could use a proper, going into 2017, like being a realistic view. And it's like the brands, we know it's Off-White, Anti-Social Club, No Vacancy, Heron Preston with a project, you know, like just like a conscious look at what, like we use this word culture, and then we can bend it.
I think culture is just, it's like the beginning of that Mos Def's first album. He's like that when he's talking about hip hop. He's like, people act like hip hop is some, you know, big giant that comes down and crushes the village once in a blue, blah blah blah. No, it's however the people feel. So if hip hop's happy, if people are happy, hip hop's happy. If the crack epidemic is going on and motherfuckers is fucked up, then you got NWA and Public Enemy. When motherfuckers is getting loads of money, you got P. Diddy and Mace in silver suits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So same thing with culture is like, what's going on? So Donald Trump is culture because people in America believe the shit he was kicking, and they bought into it.
No,
so that's a
no, they don't.
They were whatever, but they voted for him. More people came out and voted for him.
But we go back to the same discussion that we've been having for the last few days. It's the people that didn't vote that's the problem. Those people are always going to vote.
But
for
I'm just saying, that's what culture is the current zeitgeist, what's happening. And like I've said before in the past, culture is caring. Example, when we do the Good Music Showcase, you know, with Pablo, Pusha T, Migos,
Venus.
No Vacancy. But Venus wasn't on that flyer. You inserted her because you wanted to represent New York culture.
Yeah.
Because in the day, Migos are incredible. Quavo's one of my favorite rappers. He's from Atlanta. Pusha T, he's from VA. He's from London. I'm from New York. You're from Chicago. You got someone who represents
the New
York culture to the high. You cared. You didn't have to do that. No one, like, if you didn't do that, it would have affected the night to us.
Yeah.
And maybe 20% of the crowd. So you cared enough to just insert Venus. So to me, that's culture on that level.
Yeah.
And then there's the other stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah. So listen, I think what we do actively is we participate in our culture. So that's the culture that we're in. Now, if you want to define it like in terms of a genre, it's almost impossible because the one thing that's happened that we've never had before.
There's no subculture anymore either because
it's just the internet. We never had that before. So the thing is, when people were younger and we didn't have the internet, culture was the most relevant way for kids to be connected. That's what we needed because without it, we were just like, okay, how do I know you really are?
What's the
That was the club.
What's the collective thought?
Now culture's reached its peak. We've actually saturated because we have the internet.
My only, like, defining it is not even the objective. It's more so I have this, like, innate fear that the glory, or not fear, it's like the idea that the glory days are gone.
I believe so too.
But I feel like that's, like, devil's advocate, I feel like it's a device to promote laziness, is to be like, it sucks now, so I don't go out, or LA sucks. I say that often, but like New York is not the same. But it's like we were doing other random stuff before, but I think apathy is the new, like, people are just like so cool.
That's
post Williamsburg, American Apparel. I'm a snob, and so culture is like whatever it is,
apathetic.
whatever it's like. Okay, it's lower than now. If I say, here's a party, I'm gonna just do some like yin yang. It's like, oh, we got a whole bunch of out of town rappers. Let's put someone local. It's like, boom, it's better. Design Miami. It's like a whole industry that thinks that we should just be doing parties. And I'm like, oh, nah, I got something over here and it looks totally different. To me, that's like each of that style of juxtaposition raises culture up and like plays against the apathy.
No, so look, that's actually the key word. The Trump election win and the Brexit referendum vote was about apathy. It wasn't about anger. It's about the people who didn't vote. They were too cool to give a fuck. That was the issue. The issue isn't the people who voted.
If you forced everyone to vote, you would have had a different
outcome. You're right. The issue was apathy, which is the word he brings up. Here's my whole thing. culture is saturated because we've grown up and we've had it and we've misused it and we've loved it and we have technology. There are parts of the world they've never had it. That's where culture is next. So post the Enlightenment, in Europe, you had the Renaissance, right? Where a new way of thinking had to occur. You know, because post-religion and science, people were just like, okay, now art is the way forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everyone became some sort of artist in some form. Now, my whole thing is this. Everyone over here has had all of this. We're super entitled in the West. We've had time and energy and money and resources to do whatever we want. There are parts of the world they haven't had that. That's where culture is next. So we actually need to be explorers. We need to go to those places and interact with those people with the knowledge that we have, because what we've got here is too much and your belly's full. That's what apathy is. It's like, I've just had it for so long. I don't care if I eat or I don't eat. I don't care if I drink water anymore. Do you know what I mean? I don't like, all I care about is if the Wi-Fi code is on. Give me the Wi-Fi code.
No.
Fully charged iPhone.
But that's the thing. But that's why people like Virgil, Heron, you, A-Side are important, because on a micro to macro level, let's say the T-shirt, there are a lot of guys in our age group who are just like, another graphic tee? Apathy, because they hung out at Union. They had, they had the first Supreme T-shirt with Robert De Niro on it from Taxi Car Driver. So when I dropped No Vacancy, they're like, oh, another fucking T-shirt. Oh, you're referencing Carlito's Way. Oh, cool. You know what I mean? Whereas culture is people who don't hold on. That goes into the art dad thing. Holding on to the torch, wherever you want to call it, no matter what, and not getting apathetic and not being like, oh.
And being progressive with it, because there's an example that we can all kind of get our head around. It's simple, like New York rap and Atlanta rap, right? New York reached saturation. There was a rapper in every corner, and New York believed in itself so much, purely based on the
I was one of them at one point.
Right. So
a long time
and
ago.
in Atlanta, they never got to shine.
In the galaxy far, far away.
They had little hits, Jermaine Dupri or whatever. All Gucci Man did was create culture at such a vigorous level outside of, because if he'd come from New York, he would just have been another guy trying to sign to Bad Boy.
Is music dead?
Absolutely not.
Not at all.
Possible.
Not
Because
I'm not just throwing it out. But why does music feel different now than it did when we were teenagers in high school?
Because we're
The
expecting
format?
we're expecting the same hit from the same old drug. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're expected to feel the same way you did when you first smoked weed or whatever, sniff, blow, or whatever people do. Like,
I think it's the more you listen to music and the more your knowledge grows, you have to just go dig deeper. For me, I thought I knew a lot about music till I met A-Side and Benji B and moved to London, and that reinvigorated my interest in it. You know what I mean? Like I had New York on lock, and I never did parties. I only did parties for like my birthday. Like Cafe Select, I'll do a birthday. If a new spot open, that's where I do my birthday party or something. But I didn't give a fuck. Where coming to London, meeting all these DJs, hanging out at his crib, listening to vinyl, shit I never heard before. Smoking stogies. Is like, oh shit, yeah, let's do a party. Because it made me give a fuck again. Yeah. So I don't think music is dead. I think it's it's harder. There's so much of it now. It's harder to find it. You know what I mean? Like, it's harder to find it.
Like A-Side,
prime example. Sorry, go for it.
No, I'm just like trying to find music. It's like growing up listening to the same shit. It's like, all right, I'm bored. I want to listen to something new. It's like, where do you find it? It's like, I listen to Benji B. He always like plays some new shit, or like Nova Planet and in Paris would break a lot of new music for me. It was like, man, like what else is out there? It's like there's more genres than just rap.
Yeah, we're all so we DJ. We like, because I'm asking this roundabout questions on like a culture litmus test. So club culture is obviously like a cornerstone of like
as I see like the airplane with the Live Club Live, like
my name's
banner.
on there, some shit.
By the way, Miami Club, stop trolling me. I don't want to come to your parties. Please.
I wanted to see you in Live last night. That would have been
I think I've been to Live once for like 5 minutes and I don't even remember.
It's rough.
It's
very rough.
No, in fact, I did go. I remember seeing Lil Wayne smoking.
But that's
it.
Me playing last night in front of those kids before as Cascade, Calvin Harris, and Skrillex pull up is the exact same thing at the Basel tent, and then that It's easy for me. It's like I gotta go into these other spaces, and play James Blake just one time
Make
for
yourself
culture.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
You know, like, you know, the last record I left for Cascade to come on to was Knuck If You Buck.
But that's the whole thing. Why music isn't
Fuck
dead,
shit up.
because someone's brain in there got sort of reformulated based on what you did, and they're gonna go back to wherever they're from and take that and try and. The history of music, as I know it, is just basically people making mistakes and actually thinking what they're doing is what they think they're doing, and then a new genre emerges. So all the guys who did rock and roll in England, they thought they were playing the blues, but they're British.
Are we in a maybe we don't have it backwards? Culture is probably at its best it's ever been. Just use that as a case study. Like this might be the best time ever.
Absolutely.
And is this this is like a renaissance maybe?
Absolutely, because we have
there's more
technology, we can
DJs, there's
communicate.
more clothing designers, there's less
We have
there's less
SoundCloud.
corporations that are telling kids what to wear. It's actually the other way around. This might be the best time in music,
Bottom
the
up.
best time in fashion, the best time in life.
Yeah, it is. Think about it. One of the biggest, not the biggest, but yeah, in a way, the most anticipated album of the year was Blonde, right? And he dropped it independent. That's unheard of. You know what I mean? It never would have happened in the 90s or the 80s or even early 2000s.
So here's the thing, sir. Here's the thing. The Mona Lisa is telling us it's time to wrap it up.
The Mona Lisa of
Yeah.
culture in the corner.
Mona Lisa. No, so here's the thing. It's very simple. I think this is the best time, in my opinion. But the problem is, we're well educated enough to know how to use the tools that we have in front of us, because we came from a time when that part of it was important. Right now, it's all there, and people don't know how to use it because they don't have the education, and that's the actual issue.
Yeah.
That's why culture feels a little bit redundant, because any kid could be a better DJ than all of us combined in our dreams, and a better designer. And because all the information that I didn't have is available right now.
Exactly.
But they don't know how to grasp that information.
And it's cheaper to fly places.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you can
Deals.
resell some shit
But that's
and
what
buy
I'm
a
trying
plane
to say.
ticket.
But the thing is, it's been obscured by
Grailed.
it's been obscured by likes and retweets. That's the issue. Take away the likes and retweets and get back to actually getting yourself informed.
But the next Steve Jobs, the next Raf Simons, the next Larry Hurd, they're gonna
11.
look at the game and just like catch it, catch the apathy, see the trendy kids, and just drop a concept, a new idea for a club, a new. Like it's gonna be an invention that's gonna like
that's the
flatten.
wave.
Yeah, I just don't think we should look for it in the places that it's come from before. I think they are new places. That's what I believe.
Truth.
That's why I left London, because I've been there for a lot and I've seen it. I've seen the cycle now. Whereas I actually feel like, okay, LA might be whack, so I actually need to go there.
No, yeah, because one of the things that inspired me to start do those string of house parties in LA was Virgil being like, LA is whack. So it's just like that. Whereas if I do a party in London, he will fly from fucking Hawaii to do it. Like, you know,
6
like
hours,
like
$500
for
and scotch.
$500, he'll fly from wherever to come do the party. Whereas LA is like, I gotta I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what I had to throw in that rider to get Virgil to come out. But that's interesting to me because that's just
challenge.
the challenge.
Yeah,
You know?
it's a challenge, and
taking it on.
it's also open. Opens opportunity. Whereas
Yeah.
in London, we saw it, the amount of nightclubs that got closed in the space of 1 year.
Yeah.
Whereas in LA, all they're doing is opening nightclubs.
It's like
You
you
know?
see opportunity and
Yeah.
you see a breakthrough when you
and all
step
they're
out.
doing, English manufacturing. Like, no one can actually successfully run a streetwear brand out of the UK. You either have to do fast fashion, which is all made in Europe, or you're doing tailoring, which costs a lot of money to produce and to sell, because it's just not set up like that over there. So to me, those places is where culture is eroding. It's come to its end because they've made the price of New York living so expensive. Which artists can survive?
Culture is at an all-time high. Look what Heron did during New York Fashion Week.
Yeah, no, it was great.
That-
It was great.
You know what I mean? That's just one of the best things I've seen in my life.
Yeah, it was
I'm
great.
35. I've been going to MoMA since I was a baby. That's one of the best things I've seen. So it's very alive, but it's like, where are you looking?
Yeah, you got to
And
step
you know
out.
what I mean? You got to step out.
Because you did something outside of what people would expect to present as whatever clothing or streetwear, whatever genre we want to lump ourselves into,
Right.
And that's how you came up with something new.
You got to like write the rules and like write the future.
Yeah.
Step out of your box to like find breakthroughs, because if we continue to just work within what we're working on, we're not going to really push anything forward. You know what I mean? So you say you had to step out of London and go to LA. You saw opportunity there. I had to step out of like fashion to go work with sanitation.
Yeah.
You know, to push fashion forward and also sanitation forward.
Yeah. Or just people thinking about things in their life that help them. You know what I mean?
That's what the vibe is of this talk. Got it. Because you know what? I hate these things. Because what happens is it comes off like as soon as this flyer gets posted, like our names, it like puts a drop in the bucket of us trying to be cool, which I think we need to underline. It's like the disclaimer: do not listen to this if you think that this is a ploy to be cool. My game in only doing things like this is to actually give the listener a trick that we've used that normally we wouldn't tell you. Otherwise, it breaks the whole system of our OGs. That's how everything cool was built before, and they're going to roll over it. So the trick, if the kids picked it up through listening to this ramble, is basically like do the unexpected in an arena that the normal person wouldn't get. You know, like Heron Preston, DSNY. Me, Live. You know, me, Design Miami. You know, my brain moves too fast, so I just do too much shit. But it's like Art Dad, while all the kids are running toward vector graphics and screen printed tees, you know, the most washed flannel of all time from a spot that you don't even know what the brand is, is immediately cuts through this culture thing that we just try to define. So any other jewels? I was like, we're not doing this unless we get to this higher level where A-side just drops the mic.
Fidel
That's
side.
how we're going to end. Fidel side. On that note, Mona Lisa in the corner is saying to cut it.
Yo, this is No Vacancy and No Wave, Communiversity. Heron, Virgil, thank you. You guys are really busy, so I appreciate you hanging around.
This is it.
See you tonight.
See you tonight.
So rock and roll. So punk.
He swept the head out and then dropped it.